What's up, YouTube? Here with another recap. Eagles recap. There, Eagles go down, as we all know, 20-19 to the Dolphins this past Sunday, and now they're sitting at 4-5 with the Giants and Redskins. Redskins technically still ahead of them because they got the tiebreaker for the division. Redskins were the only team in the division to win this weekend. They took care of the Saints at home. And, Eagles had a 16-3 lead and blew it, completely blew it. Could not get momentum after that, emotional overtime win at Dallas a week ago. So now, as I said, they're 4-5. They play Tampa this weekend at home on Sunday afternoon, and then they play on Thanksgiving at Detroit, the early game that day. Back-to-back years, the Eagles playing on Thanksgiving. So, what can be said about the game that hasn't already been said? Right, the Eagles, really one of the key moments in that game was late in the fourth with 4 minutes and some change to go. Eagles have the ball, 1st and goal from their 9. Mark Sanchez is in because Bradford goes down with a concussion and a shoulder injury. Looks like Bradford's probably going to be out at least for the next 2 games, but we'll see after that. But Sanchez comes in, and we all know about Sanchez's history. He's Mr. Bad Interception. And for some reason, and Chip has done this. He's done this before when they have a goal-to-go situation, and instead of handing the ball off, he's throwing the ball. He's calling for passing plays. He did that last year in San Francisco, did that last year in Arizona, does it again this year, at home against Miami. Now, the Dolphins come into this game with the 32nd ranked defense against the run. They have not been good against the run. And to their credit, they were better against the run in this game. Eagles' offensive line played horrible. A week ago, we praised them for playing really well against Dallas. But this week, it was the complete opposite. They played one of their worst games of the year. Absolutely awful. And Ndamukong Suh, turned the clock back a few years. Right, he's been a big bust for Miami, but he wasn't a bust last Sunday. Probably had his best game of the year, unfortunately. It's 4 minutes and some change to go, and you mean to tell me that you can't just hand the ball off there to Murray and then hand it off again on 2nd down, take it down to the close to the 2-minute warning, and then kick what should be the easiest kick of the game in that field goal, which would have been a real chip shot. I know Sturgis missed a chip shot earlier. It was like a 32-yarder or whatever, and that kind of started the ball rolling in the wrong direction. The Eagles at that time were up 16-3, and that could have put them up. It would have been 19-3, but missed the field goal, and the Dolphins get the ball, go down the field, and get a field goal, and then the Eagles got a punt blocked, and that led to a touchdown. So the Eagles were only up 3 at the half, and then the second half, it was just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, punt, 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 punt. It was the punt fest. The Dolphins eventually get the lead on a crazy play. Connor Barwin bats the ball up in the air, a pass up in the air, and for some reason the Eagles defense don't react to it, and it goes to Landry for a touchdown. That put the Dolphins up 4. The Eagles were down, I think, they were down a couple points or whatever it was. But the field goal at the end on that, when it was 1st and goal from the 9, a field goal would have given them the lead at that time. And, because it was still 20-19. And instead of handing the ball off, and again, remember, it was 4 minutes and some change to go. Instead of handing the ball off there, you should do. I mean, you play Madden, you're handing the ball off there. I mean, it's not rocket science, but for some reason Chip Kelly likes to think it is. And I'll just pass here. Well, the old saying is you in key moments of the game, you get the ball to your playmakers, right? And I know for the most part the Eagles' offense this year, I mean they've put up yards, they've whatever, but they haven't had a whole lot of playmakers. But that being said, DeMarco Murray at that point is your best playmaker on the field, and I know he's having certainly not like he was having a season a year ago, but it's going to be really hard to duplicate that. I mean, that was one of the all-time seasons, for a running back. So instead of getting him the ball against, again, the 32nd ranked run defense in the league, and I understand they played better in that game, but still, the 32nd ranked run defense in the league, instead of giving him the ball, and maybe he bounces it, maybe he scores a touchdown. Maybe you don't just run right into Ndamukong Suh 3 times, right? Or 2 times or whatever. Maybe you try to bounce it outside and get a, big gainer. Maybe then it's second and goal from the 1 or something like that, right? Instead of doing that, we're going to put the ball in Mark Sanchez's hands. And we all remember a season ago when Mark Sanchez came in, Nick Foles got hurt. And look, he won some games. He was okay. Big game on Thanksgiving, had a big game, against Dallas. But then after that, it was Mark the Interception Sanchez, right? Against Seattle, against Dallas, against Washington, at the wrong times of the games to throw interceptions. He's throwing interceptions. This is his MO. This is what he does. So at that time of the game, you're going to put the ball in Mark Sanchez's hands. And he does what Mark Sanchez likes to do. In the wrong times of games, throw an interception. Way to go. And for some reason, the Eagles figured that towards the end of the game, we're going to make Miles Austin our primary receiver in big situations. Miles Austin, who had a touchdown and forgot to drag his other foot. Like, most receivers do when they're towards the end of the end zone there into the sidelines. They like to drag that foot, to make sure both feet are in bounds. Miles Austin forgets to do this, and it takes a touchdown off the boards. Riley Cooper can't get set up in time. That takes another touchdown off the boards when Sanchez actually throws a nice pass to Zach Ertz for a touchdown, but it doesn't count, even though the Dolphins have 12 men on the field on defense, because Riley Cooper isn't set up. Now, I don't know why Mark Sanchez couldn't see that. As a quarterback, you are supposed to survey things and not just hike the ball just because you feel like, oh, it's time to hike the ball. But at the same time, the Eagles just constantly shooting themselves in the foot, taking points off the board. Even with all that, they still have a shot. First and goal from the 9. With 4 minutes and some change to go. And instead of handing the ball off and doing what you're supposed to do, Chip Kelly decides, well, I know everything better than everyone else, so I'm just gonna have Mark Sanchez throw. What can go wrong? Nothing can go wrong with that. A low percentage play. A slant down the middle. In the teeth of the defense. We're going to have not Tom Brady, not Aaron Rodgers, not Cam, I'll even throw Cam Newton in there. Not Cam Newton, not Russell Wilson, not Carson Palmer. Right? Mark Sanchez. We're going to believe in Mark Sanchez to make a play. Because he's Chip's guy. Because Chip brought him back after that debacle last season. Probably wasn't the best of ideas. And Mark Sanchez did what Mark Sanchez did last season. In key moments, throws the bad interception. The Eagles go on to lose. Where have I seen this before? only the last few games of last season when they had a chance to win the division and get to the playoffs, and who knows what can happen. You get them up full head of steam, momentum, right? No, we have Mark Sanchez throwing interceptions. He didn't butt fumble, but he does throw the interceptions. He likes to do that. And then get cheesesteaks after the game. He likes to do that. Eagle fans are always put under fire by other fan bases for a lot of reasons. And one is because they say, you're too hard on Chip. You're too hard on him. I'm sorry, we watch this team every week. You guys can watch your teams. Okay? And what you see of the Eagles is the highlights that they like to provide on the NFL Network or ESPN or whatever. You're not watching the whole games. We watch the whole games. We have seen Chip Kelly in 3 seasons now. We've seen him succeed. We've seen him fail. What happened this offseason? Chip Kelly became the GM. The players that you see on the Eagles right now are his responsibility. He's the one that put this... He's Dr. Frankenstein that created the monster. Okay? Yes, it might take time to fully get what he's doing. It's not going to come in one season, and we understand this. But you must excuse us for criticizing Coach Kelly when mistakes are made. And on 1st and goal from the 9 with 4 minutes and some change to go, okay, you're not a rookie coach. He's not a rookie coach anymore. This is his 3rd season in the NFL. And you have to know your personnel, and you have to know the problems that could arise if you tell Mark Sanchez, instead of handing the ball off to DeMarco Murray, using up some clock, okay, so you're hopefully get it. If worst comes to worst, you get a chip shot field goal, you're up a couple points, and then it's up to your defense to stop Ryan Tannehill. And I understand that they couldn't stop Kirk Cousins early in the season in a late game situation at Washington. I understand that. But the Dolphins' offense was doing nothing that whole second half. Nothing. So you take the points there, you get the field goal, and you give the Dolphins the ball back with little time to go at that point probably. Maybe about a little under 2 minutes to go in the game, maybe about a minute. And you're asking Ryan Tannehill to beat you. And you know what? Maybe he does. Maybe he does. But I bet he doesn't. Maybe Ryan throws that late interception instead of Mark Sanchez. Right? But we'll never know. Because instead of doing what you're supposed to do and hand the ball off on 1st and 9 and then maybe again on 2nd and whatever and use that clock and then eventually get the field goal, or maybe you even score a touchdown. How about that? You call a passing play with Mark Sanchez in a key situation in a game. You must excuse us for being just a little upset. And I know the players have to execute. That's what Chip likes to say. The players have to execute. They didn't do their job. But you got to know who you have at quarterback. And you can't put him in that situation to fail. He's done it before. And you're giving him that opportunity again, and that's what happens. And every Eagle fan at that stadium on Sunday, when Mark Sanchez pulled the ball back away from DeMarco Murray and went back to pass, they all knew what was coming. All Eagles fans at home knew what was coming. And there it was. The bad interception by Mr. Sanchez. The bad play call by Coach/GM Chip Kelly. So the other fan bases out there, you must excuse us for being just a little annoyed at our coach, who seems to make the same mistakes over and over again and doesn't seem to learn from them. And will probably continue to make these mistakes in late game situations. Okay? This is our team. We watch them every week. We live and die with this team every week. All right? We're not the fan base that has it easy. We're not at the easy table. Those seats are reserved for the Patriots, for the Packers, for the Steelers, for, I guess this season, the Panthers, the Cardinals, right? That's what those seats are available are for. Continuing on from this season, right? Then you have the other fans like us, where we have to work for it a little harder. You must excuse us, okay? We don't have silver spoons in our mouths. We're the ones we're the blue collar fans. Okay, you have the fan bases that are up in their penthouses looking down on everyone, and then you have fan bases like the Eagle fans. And we got to work for this. This isn't given to us. We're the ones that have to do what you like to call suffer. Okay? Some fan bases may have forgotten what that was all about, okay? Some fan bases may have forgotten about what that is, but we have not forgotten because we're in this perpetual state of suffer. And for some reason now, all the teams in Philadelphia, none of them seem to know what the hell they're doing. Okay? You have the winless Sixers, the Flyers that are, that the Phillies who had us in the penthouse for a while, but now it's back to, right? That's what we have. So the only thing we thought we may have had something with was the Eagles. And even now, they're below 500. We cannot be happy here. And people are always say, Philadelphia fans are so negative. Why are they so negative? Well, look at the teams. You kidding me? We would be negative too. It's not easy to be positive. Okay? We all can't put the Joker smile on when the Sixers are losing every game, when the Flyers are losing games, when the Phillies are losing, when all these teams are laughing stocks, the Eagles are losing. What exactly do we have to be positive for in Philadelphia as a Philadelphia fan? It's not a lot, okay? Temple's giving us a nice year, but besides that, there really is nothing. Less than nothing. It's a rebuilding mode. So anyhow, Eagles find a way to lose a winnable game. And now the only saving grace is they're still in a bad division. Where if they win the next two games, going into that game at New England, they still have a shot. Maybe the Giants lose a game. Maybe the Redskins lose a game here and there. I think the Giants and Redskins play one another in a few weeks. So someone's got to lose unless they tie. So there's still a chance for the Eagles to do something this season, which is amazing when you think about it. But the one big word has been inconsistency, and that's what this team has been all year. And by the way, I don't know what it is about the Eagles as a franchise. This isn't just this season. This is like every time they win a big game, they follow it up with a loss. You notice that? It's like every time, right? They win a big game, maybe a comeback win. Those years ago it was the snow game against Detroit, right? It was last year Thanksgiving, right? Oh, they followed that up with 3 straight losses, right? It was every time they get a big win, they follow it up with a loss. It doesn't matter who they play. They can could probably play a high school team, right? They would probably still find a way to lose. A Pee Wee team, Pop Warner, they'd probably still find a way to lose. They could probably play, some sort of senior center or something like that, and they'd still find a way to lose. Oh, that guy with the cane, he got by them, right? The old man on his rascal, he's going, they can't catch him. I don't know. Again, this isn't exactly the easiest fan base of franchises to be a fan base of, but this is what we do. Disappointing loss. Obviously, it wasn't just what happened on 1st and goal and whatever, but a lot of other things led to that loss, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing because it was a winnable game. And I don't just say it because of Miami's record, because obviously you can't look at a team because of their record. Eagles were up 16-3. Do you realize the Eagles scored 3 more points? They were up 16-3 in the second quarter. They scored 3 more points the whole damn game. I mean, they were owning the Dolphins. It looked like it was going to be a complete blowout. And then it's like it's like the earth shifted. And all of a sudden, here comes Miami. I know there's a lot of games like that for a lot of teams, but it was tough. That was a tough one. I can't lie and say I wasn't nervous about this game because, A, it was coming off a big win, and B, it's just how inconsistent this team has been. But my nerves were like settling when it was 16-3, and I almost sent a text to one of my friends like, "Oh, this is awesome," type of thing. But I held off because I remembered I'm an Eagles fan, and hey, there might be some teams when they're up 16-3, they just walk away with the game, but not so much with the Eagles. You learn over the years you can't get too excited too early with the Eagles. So they find a way to get the L. They grasped victory and then they gave it away, right? Dennis Green said, "We let him off the," whatever you want to put in for that. It was bad. One of the worst losses of the year. I still say that home Dallas loss just because of how listless they were the whole game. That was the worst one. But the Redskins loss was tough too because just how it ended. And now this one. They all hurt. All losses hurt. It doesn't matter. But tough one. Hopefully they can shake it off. I understand Sanchez, Mr. Bad Interception, is going to be their quarterback for the next few weeks, barring injury. But we'll see. Won a few games here with the Eagles last year. Hopefully he's not the long-term answer for the season, but we'll see what they do against Tampa, another team that we've had some poor memories against from years ago. But Tampa, they're not a great shakes team, but they do have some weapons, and the Eagles do have Sanchez, so you can't say anything's a given. Right? And even Detroit wins a big game, right? So Detroit, it looked like it was going to be a walkover in a few weeks, but now, who knows? I mean, that's the NFL, though. You never know, right? Who would have thought that Detroit's going to win in Green Bay last week, right? Or the Texans were going to beat the undefeated Bengals. But that's the NFL for you. Anything can happen. The Eagles go down 20-19. Again, a game that got away. And hopefully they can get the win at Tampa and then on Thanksgiving at Detroit. And then they have a little bit of a break before that game at New England. But, because it's a Thursday night Thanksgiving and it's not till the following Sunday. But, we'll see. I'm still hopeful that they can win this week against Tampa and then again at Detroit, get 2 in a row, and then see what happens against the Patriots. Stranger things have happened, But, of course, if they win that game, that's a big win, so they probably won't beat Buffalo the week after. Right? But no. Let's get a win against Tampa. Let's get the 5-5 and then see what happens. Maybe the Giants or Redskins slip up here and there. I know the Giants have a bye this week. I forget who Washington's playing. But, Dallas, they get Romo back, but, they're 2-7 right now, so I can't imagine, even with Romo back, it's going to, make them go on a huge winning streak or something. You never know, but, we'll see. Ain't over yet because they're in the division that they're in, but that was a bad one, man. Losing to Miami. Yeah. But get through it, and we're going to hope for a win this week. Again, another home game, but hope for a win this week against the Bucks. And then, we see what happens on Turkey Day and a week from Thursday. And, So, as always, shout-outs to all the Eagle Nation out there. I know it was another tough one this past Sunday, man, but, we're used to them by now, aren't we? It's just they find another way. They just, But, we'll see what happens this week. And I want to, it is, the NFL is, giving thanks to all the servicemen and women out there. And I want to tip the hat to to all of our brave men and women out there still fighting the fight and keeping the nation safe. Shout outs to all of them. And I do want to give thoughts and prayers to all the families of the victims of the Paris bombings last weekend. You know, any terrorism is a horrible thing. It doesn't matter where in the world it occurs. I know we had our experiences with that. So, you know, thoughts and prayers to those people, to the family out there in Paris. And, you know, again, a terrible thing. You know, we talk about, we make these videos about games and about sports and events and different things. But, you know, when you have events that take place in the world, it really puts things in perspective, you know. It's a terrible thing, and again, you know, just want to, you know, give the thoughts and prayers out there to all the families and the victims of the victims for those events, yeah, I just wanted to say that. But there you go. That's going to do it for this vid, and I will see you all after the Tampa game. Hopefully, it'll be in better spirits. Hopefully, it will be a win. Get back on track, back to 500, and then see what happens on Thanksgiving at Detroit. But until the next video, I will see you all then. All right, take care, everyone. Peace. Bye.